Hello and welcome to this Astranti industry analysis video for the November 2020 case study exams. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the real-world industry behind the fictional Prescene company, Knowledge City Technology Park. So this will be the subject for this case study exam. So in this video, we won't be covering everything that is in the industry analysis document. It's simply designed to pick out and expand upon some key points. So it's important to use this video in addition to the industry analysis document itself to make sure that you cover as much as possible in your revision. Now, before we get into talking about the actual industry, let's first take a moment to go through the role that you'll be taking on in your exam. So in the Prescene, you're told that you are a senior manager in Knowledge City Technology Park's finance function. You report directly to the board and advise on special projects and strategic matters. So the key word here, the key concept, is analysis. When you report to the board, you need to come with more than just the plain facts. You need to digest these facts, analyse them, and tell the board what it actually means for Knowledge City Technology Park, how the company can benefit from features in the market and the wider world, or risks that you've identified that the company must mitigate. So by doing this, you will be able to actually provide good advice on strategic matters and special projects that the company might take on. So having some grounding in the real-world features of the technology park industry will help you to do this. So let's start by looking at the history of these technology parks. So technology parks are a relatively new phenomenon, with the first parks being established in the 1950s. So still a relatively new and up-and-coming industry. The parks themselves are complexes of individual buildings rented out to science, technology and engineering companies performing research and development work. The parks are also set up and run in collaboration with a university or a small group of universities local to the park, which helps facilitate the sharing and application of academic research. So because these companies, the tenant companies, are in close proximity to one another, there's a very high chance that employees of those companies will bump into each other on the park grounds itself. And as a consequence of these interactions, they'll be able to network with each other, talk about their work, talk about any ideas they might have, and as such, it's very likely that collaborations will arise. Additionally, as the park has close links with the local university, this sort of thing will happen with academic researchers and park employees as well. So researchers at the university will be able to see their academic work potentially applied in the work of the companies in a real-world commercial context. Conversely, companies at the park will be able to benefit from drawing upon the expertise and the knowledge of these academic people. So because of this, technology parks aim to foster a highly collaborative environment. So by being so close together, the tenant companies will likely be able to achieve more than they could if they were to set up their headquarters in a more isolated space. So from the early history of technology parks, we can see that since the 1950s, parks have been established all around the world. And not only this, but more and more parks are being set up. So if we look to the brief list of parks established in the early period, we can see that some parks were in the USA, Austria, Finland, and India. So these are just some examples. But from this, we can see that technology parks aren't just an isolated phenomenon that only happen in, say, North America or in Europe. The success of technology parks has been repeated in a variety of contexts. Different cultures, different economies, completely different countries. And so this indicates that the technology park as a general business model is quite a reliable one. Further evidence of this reliability can be seen in the more modern history of the technology park industry. So in recent years, the industry has continued to grow and grow. And this growth can be both seen in the expansion of already existing technology parks and also the appearance of more and more new technology parks all around the world. So we can see, for example, that the Pomeranian Science and Technology Park in Poland grew to a total of 135 tenant companies. Similar growth can be seen in the case of Cambridge Science Park in the United Kingdom, which now houses over 100 companies. And also in the EU alone, as of 2020, there are more than 350 technology parks in all of the various different countries. So again, more and more parks, larger and larger parks, speaking in general. So how does this apply to our Prescene company? Well, as I've mentioned, technology parks have caught on all around the world. However, Knowledge City Technology Park itself was established in 1986, and as such, it was a relatively early adopter of this business model. So again, the first technology parks popped up in the 1950s, so Knowledge City Technology Park wasn't one of the very first, the pioneers, but it was on the scene relatively early. As such, the company has a large amount of experience to draw upon when making strategic decisions. Additionally, the continued survival of Knowledge City Technology Park between 1986 and today in 2020 indicates that it is quite a stable company. It survived, for example, various recessions, presumably that may have occurred in Advland during that time, and so on. In addition, the growth of technology parks around the real world has been mirrored in the country of Advland, where Knowledge City Technology Park is based. And the Prescene tells us that Advland holds currently a total of 27 such parks. So again, the technology park model, broadly speaking, has been replicated all around the world, and Advland is no different. So as such, in a growth industry, we can be reasonably confident that Knowledge City Technology Park will see continued success in at least the near future. Further, the history of technology parks has shown the importance of the park integrating with its wider local community. So Knowledge City Technology Park has done this by building strong links between itself, its tenant companies, and the nearby capital city university. So this relationship has benefited the parties involved, both in terms of acquiring more funding and also access to expert contacts. So as I've discussed, tenant companies can collaborate with one another and also with academic staff at Capital City University. So by linking academic people with commercial companies, this can attract additional funding to university-related projects and research. And in addition, of course, the tenant companies can benefit from access to such expert input. The same also goes for employability. That is to say, through such networking and through such contacts, people can gain access to jobs from the university to the tenant companies and so on. So there is a lot of networking involved at these parks, and Knowledge City Technology Park is no different. So scrolling down a bit further, one more thing I'd like to discuss is the importance of collaboration. So we have a statistic here that the UK-based technology park, SciTech Daresbury, reported in 2020 that over 70% of the companies based at the park were collaborating with another company on the same site. So I've talked about how the opportunity for collaboration is there due to the close proximity of the companies at the park and therefore the likelihood that employees will interact with one another. But this statistic serves to demonstrate that collaboration does actually take place on the basis of this opportunity. So a large amount of the success of technology parks in general can be attributed to this kind of collaboration. The collaboration drives new innovation, new opportunities, things that the tenant companies at the parks couldn't necessarily do by themselves. And this has been the case at Knowledge City Technology Park. So this park has indeed been successful in fostering this kind of extremely productive collaboration. The Prescene specifically tells us that there have been a lot of different successful collaborations at the park. So these collaborations have been between tenant companies of the park and also universities throughout the country of Advland. So that is to say, there have been successful collaborations between the tenant companies and Capital City University, but also universities further afield. And this again can be down to this idea of networking at the park that I've discussed earlier. That is to say, perhaps a member of academic staff at Capital City University knows a member of another university within Adverland that might be interested in research that they've heard about going on at Knowledge City Technology Park. So by these degrees of separation, a person that knows somebody else, collaboration can occur through the networking that is fostered and encouraged at these technology parks. And so Knowledge City Technology Park can offer this type of opportunity to potential tenant companies, and as such it can grow and grow. So in summary, collaboration, community is key at technology parks in general. So anything Knowledge City Technology Park can do to encourage this will be vital to its continued success. And further, the technology park in our Prescene, and further, Knowledge City Technology Park itself is situated within a successful and growing industry. And additionally, it has experience of operating within this industry gathered over many years. And as such, we can be reasonably confident that it will continue to be successful. So the first real-world example that we'll be looking at is commitment to sustainability at Liverpool Science Park. So Liverpool Science Park in the United Kingdom has made a significant commitment to ensuring the sustainability of its buildings. So as part of this commitment, the park has earned BREAMM certification for 2 of its innovation centres. So that is 2 of its large buildings. So BREAMM certification is a world-class standard for assessing the overall sustainability of buildings and infrastructure projects, and includes consideration of energy and water use, materials and ecology, amongst other things. So having strived for and achieved this certification, Liverpool Science Park has had to consider all various different aspects of how these buildings, these innovation centres, impact the environment. And so this demonstrates the park's overall commitment to its corporate social responsibility, and also meeting its ethical obligation to behave in a way that ensures that their environmental harm is mitigated. And additionally, the park offers recycling-led waste disposal services to its tenant companies. So by offering these services, it makes it much easier for its tenants to recycle any waste that they need to dispose of. So the tenant companies don't have to worry about how they actually undertake this recycling themselves. All they have to do is let the park handle it. And as a consequence, it does promote greater rates of recycling in this park. So with regards to our Prescene, this example is relevant, as it demonstrates a real-world example of a technology park working towards becoming more sustainable. So our fictional park, Knowledge City Technology Park, should ensure that it does the same in order to improve its overall corporate social responsibility, CSR, brand and reputation. So these are 3 important considerations. So from what we've seen, we can talk about this real-world example in our exam if issues such as ethics, corporate social responsibility, branding, that is branding as an ethical, as an environmentally friendly technology park, sustainability, and recycling. So if any of these issues come up, this example could be used. So now let's quickly go through an example exam paragraph that you could write in the course of your exam. So Knowledge City Technology Park should strive to behave as ethically as possible. And part of this includes making a commitment to sustainability as part of its overall corporate social responsibility. Technology parks in the real world, such as Liverpool Science Park, have implemented a range of initiatives to do this. So for example, 2 innovation centres at Liverpool Science Park have achieved BREAMM certification, indicating a high standard of sustainability. So the park highlights its achievement of this certification on its website, enhancing its overall reputation. So again, having achieved this certification, in addition to meeting the ethical obligations, in addition to helping the park to become more sustainable overall, it can also be something that the park can point at and say, look at us, we are a forward-thinking, sustainable science park, and thereby improving its brand. And its website is an excellent vehicle to help it to do this. Further, the park has implemented recycling initiatives to help its tenant companies to reduce their environmental impact. So again, through this recycling initiative, the park is achieving its same overall broad goals, CSR, helping its reputation, helping its branding, and again, these are all things that it can talk about on its website. So Knowledge City Technology Park, our fictional company, could try to follow Liverpool Science Park's example, implement similar measures, advertise them on its website, and thereby improve its reputation amongst the citizens of Advland. The second real-world example issue that we'll be discussing is a chemical accident at Oxford Science Park. So in 2015, a violent chemical reaction occurred at Oxford Nanopore Technologies, which was based at Oxford Science Park. So this reaction unexpectedly resulted in the release of toxic, corrosive chemicals. So the incident injured 3 people, although the injuries were not reported to be serious. So the cleanup operation, again following the release of these toxic, corrosive chemicals, took 8 hours and involved 35 firefighters, all in protective gear. So clearly this is something that could happen at any science park where this sort of chemicals are handled. And clearly the consequences of such an incident are relatively severe. So although in this case the injuries again were not particularly severe, we could imagine that they may have been, perhaps had different chemicals been used, or perhaps a lower standard of protection of those people. However, in any case, even in an incident such as this, the cleanup operation was extensive, indicating that technology parks and the tenant companies based there must ensure that they do everything that they can to prevent this sort of thing from happening. So in terms of how this applies to our Prescene company, Knowledge City Technology Park hosts a variety of tenant companies which perform a range of activities. So there is potential for a tenant company to have a health and safety incident on Knowledge City Technology Park's premises. So this could be to do with chemicals, or perhaps something similar in the sense of an incident occurring resulting in industry, but from a different industry, so perhaps a manufacturing related incident. So this real world example is relevant to a lot of potential issues that could come up in your exam. So health and safety, ethics, corporate social responsibility, again this obligation to keep employees safe, legislation, again was any legislation breached in the way in which this incident was allowed to occur, public relations strategy, that is how we communicate the fact that this incident did occur to the people of Advland for our case study, and also crisis management, that is if something goes really badly wrong, how can Knowledge City Technology Park cope? So let's now take a look at our sample exam paragraph. So the experimental work performed by tenant companies at technology parks is not 100% safe, even if controls are implemented. So this can be seen in the case of Oxford Nanopore Technologies at Oxford Science Park. This company had a chemical incident in 2015 which resulted in 3 people being injured and required an involved cleanup operation. So again, if there is this kind of work, so in this case laboratory related work involving chemicals, it's never completely safe. There is always the chance that such an incident could occur. Now Knowledge City Technology Park must ensure that its tenant companies implement the proper controls. So in the case of, again, laboratories, this could be things like ensuring that only trained people are actually allowed to enter the laboratory, adding fume hoods to remove toxic fumes emitted from chemical reactions, and so on. So as outlined in Advland's legislation, whatever controls are mandated by law should be implemented. And this will help to reduce the risk of similar incidents occurring at Knowledge City Technology Park as far as possible. So this will help the park to avoid harm to its employees, harm to its brand, and also harm to its reputation. So again, first and foremost, we're concerned with looking after our people. This is our ethical obligation, and by meeting this obligation, this will help us to enhance our brand as a safe park, as a good park to work at. And then finally, this will impact on the park's overall reputation, as if the worst case scenario does occur and there are major health and safety incidents at Knowledge City Technology Park, then tenant companies will be less inclined to be based there, as after all, why would you want to put your employees in harm's way? So again, this will require Knowledge City Technology Park to work in conjunction with its tenants to ensure that controls are implemented and things are run safely, as whilst again, the people injured at Oxford Science Park in 2015 were not injured severely, we can imagine how a more serious incident could occur. And in any case, Considering the cleanup operation and the fact that people were injured, this sort of thing must be avoided. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you found it useful. I'd just like to take a moment to talk about some of the different case study products we offer here at Astranti. All of these products are available together as a package as part of our case study course. However, they can also be purchased individually. So we have our exam technique series, which comprises both a study text and a video series. So in this product, we'll teach you how to plan your answers, analyse the case study material, and manage your time in the exam. So all of these are vital skills that you need to have to make sure you don't miss out on any marks. We also have our theory revision series, which again is both a study text and a series of videos. So these talk about specific theories relevant to your case study exam. These are all topics that are frequently tested, and so this part of our course is directly tailored to the exams that you will be sitting. Additionally, we have our pre-scene analysis. So as part of this, there will be a video that goes through the pre-scene document point by point to discuss the most important aspects that you need to know ahead of your exam. Additionally, there will be a video that will talk about the top 10 most likely unseen issues that are likely to come up in the exam. Plus, we have the strategic analysis video. This will be talking about the key models taken from the CIMA syllabus and then discuss how they apply directly to the case study that you will be looking at. We also have our industry analysis, a comprehensive document that looks at the different aspects of the real-world industry that the case study company operates within. So this will give you everything from an overview of the history of the industry to any issues relating to corporate social responsibility and protecting the environment, analysis of real-world competitors to the case study company, and overall trends in that industry. It will also provide 25 real-world industry issues that can be used as examples in the exam. In addition to this document, there is also an accompanying video. We also provide mock exams, which are based on past case study exams, and also based on the exact case study that you will be tested on. Therefore, they are designed to be as close as we possibly can get them to the actual exam you will be sitting. We also offer marking and feedback. So if you purchase this, you'll get a tutor to go through your exam script, tell you if you would have passed your exam, and also tell you what you could have done better going forward. You'll also get comments on your exam technique, so all the different things to help you get as prepared as possible for sitting the real thing. We also offer question packs. So if you'd like to practice a specific part of the CIMA syllabus, you can look at a question pack directly tailored to that area, so you can get that vital practice in ahead of your exam. We also offer 2 all-day masterclasses, one at the start of the course and one at the end. So the first one will be covering how to plan effectively ahead of your exam. Then the second is a revision masterclass, which will be going through all the material that you've been learning throughout your studies to give you a nice refresher before sitting that exam. So head over to www.astranti.com for more information about all of these case study products. Until then, I'd like to take the chance to wish you all the best of luck for your case study exam.